Alright, huge news for Scarlet and Violet Littlecup. There is a suspect test being done on Gastly. Yes, you heard that right. Gastly may be banned for a second time. Now, if you don't know what the suspect test is, it's basically just when you can create a new account with this certain name here. You have to begin with this name, and you just have to ladder a bit, and once you reach the required elo, and I'm pretty sure you also have to have a certain win percentage, then you can vote in the suspect test to vote whether or not Gastly should be banned or not. Now, this is a huge deal because this is the second time that this has happened. Yeah, you heard that right. Gastly, there has already been a Gastly suspect test here. You can see it already happened a while ago, like February 18th, 2023, more than a year ago. This was at the beginning of Scarlet and Violet Littlecup, so like the very early stages of the tiers. No DLCs have actually been released back then. So yeah, this was early on in the metagame, and back then they found, hey, Gastly's broken, let's ban this thing. Now, after the DLCs got released, you know, like a lot of time has passed. DLC 1 and 2 got released, plus Pokemon Home, plus like Hisuian, Voltorb, Hisuian, Growlithe. After all that, obviously there was a lot of power creep, so they decided to re-release Gastly into the tier because they thought, hey, maybe it will be balanced this time. They were wrong, it's still broken, and they decided to do a suspect test on it. Now, Gastly usually runs one of three sets. The two most popular sets are a Hex Will-O-Wisp set and an all-out offensive Life Orb set. So the Hex Will-O-Wisp set is basically just you use Will-O-Wisp, Hex, Sludge Bomb, and then like some fourth move, like it could be Thunderbolt, it could be Substitute, it could be Dazzling Gleam, it could be anything basically, just depends on the team. Life Orb also runs, it's just Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave, and always Substitute too, and then again some random, depending on the team, fourth coverage move, and less rare but still very good, and also it's less rare but you still see it a decent amount, Choice Scarf set. Now these usually run just Trick, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, and then again some random fourth coverage move. So I think this game right here is a perfect example of why Gastly is broken. You can see here it is a Voltorb versus Gastly lead. Now, as the Voltorb player, you can't really stay in and use Volt Switch, because if the Gastly here is the Eviolite or Life Orb set, then the best play would be to use a Volt Switch. But since there's still a possibility that it's gonna be the Choice Scarf set, you can't stay in with 100% certainty, so you're forced to just switch turn 1 into Stunky. Now, he uses Sludge Wave here and no Life Orb damage, which basically just confirms that it is in fact the Choice Scarf set. Now, skipping a couple of turns ahead here, Westasauri uses T-Bolt, and then Gaither Volt switches into Gastly. This is the exact same situation as turn 1. Again, it's a Gastly versus Voltorb. Westasauri is unsure whether or not it's Life Orb or Choice Scarf or Eviolite, and because he doesn't know that, he hard switches into Meowth because he thought, okay, maybe it's gonna, if it's like the Choice Scarf set or it's like the Life Orb, or if it's the Eviolite set, then Meowth can just eat up a hit and then see and just scout basically. He was very wrong because it ended up being the Life Orb set, and Meowth took a hefty little 52%. Now this is a very tough situation, because yeah, like nothing on Westasauri's team can eat a Shadow Ball. You saw Meowth now at low health. Vullaby, which is usually a good Gastly counter, already took some damage early on in the battle, and also Stealth Rock is up, so when it switches in, it'll take a further 25% chip. So this is just a tough situation because nothing can eat a Shadow Ball. Westasauri is just basically forced to switch around here, using Shadow Ball again. Marini takes somehow even more damage, takes 54% of Shadow Ball. Very balanced mon, by the way, thank you, the Game Freak. But yeah, anyway, casual 54% from a Shadow Ball. And yeah, this is just a terrible situation because, like, he's basically just forced to make all these switches because, yeah, nothing can eat a Shadow Ball. So Wessosauri has his Vullaby out here, and he's like, so he goes into his Tinkatink. Now Wessosauri's thought process here is, oh, Gastly is kind of forced to use Sludge Bomb because, you know, otherwise Shadow Ball can't KO my Vullaby. So he's forced to use Sludge Bomb, so I'm going to go into my Tinkatink. It's a Steel type, and you can just eat up this Sludge Bomb, and I get a free switch. Heather read that play and used Substitute instead. Well, Substitute was relatively free here. But anyway, he uses Substitute instead, and now Wessosauri is in an absolutely abhorrent situation. There's nothing that like you can do now without like sacrificing like some mons. Like something here needs to get sacrificed because now like Gastly's behind a Substitute and you're just getting absolutely fried. He's forced to sack his Vullaby because he doesn't want to take like a huge chip with his Tinkatink. He goes into Voltorb just to try and get rid of this Substitute. Uses T-Bolt, Gastly uses Substitute again, predicting a Volt Switch. Yeah, Kithir thought that Wessosauri would use a Volt Switch, but ended up just using T-Bolt instead. But, I mean, losing 20% HP on the Gastly, it doesn't really matter. The 20% HP is like negligible, it really doesn't matter. So you can see finally, after 2 mons have been sacked, and a lot of mons have been chipped, the beast is down. Gastly is finally, the threat has been neutralized, and yeah. But it did lay waste on Wessosauri's team. And this here is the first reason why Gastly is so overpowering and so unhealthy for the metagame. Because all these different sets require such different counterplay. The Life Orb set, you just saw it, you need to switch in a resist like Stunky or Ponyard. If you do not switch in something that resists this thing stabs, you are getting smoked. Like anything, even the bulkiest mons in this metagame, like Spadef, Meowthfu, or Marini, like even Marini took like 54% from a Shadow Ball, so you need to switch in the resist. So that's how you the counterplay against Life Orb Gastly. However, if it's Eviolite Gastly, then switching in like a Stunky or Ponyard isn't that good of a play, because you know most Eviolite Gastlys run Will-O-Wisp, Hex, and if your Stunky switches into a Hex, into a Will-O-Wisp and is burnt, you're just kind of gooped up here. So you can see here, Wessosauri is actually the Substitute set, and he uses Will-O-Wisp here. So in this case, Kithir actually made the right play, because he knew that it was Eviolite, and yeah, so here, with Eviolite, going into your Meowthfu is the way to deal with Life Orb, Eviolite Gastly. So Eviolite Gastly can just be dealt with by Meowthfu, but obviously, if this ended up actually being like a Life Orb Meowthfu, then that would have been way worse. And also, obviously, Choice Scarf Gastly also requires very different counterplay. So like stuff like Voltorb won't work against that because it'll just get outsped and one-shotted. While against the other two sets, Voltorb can be a decent like way to deal with it by just Volt switching around and getting some nice chip damage. So that's the first problem, the first reason why Gastly is such an overpowering presence in this metagame. The second reason is here. Do you notice anything similar with their teams? Yeah, 2/3 of their team is just the exact same mon. Gastly, Meowthfu, Vullaby, and Voltorb. 2/3 of their team, just the exact same. Well, to be fair, the sets are different, but still, it's the same mons, and like... And then, the other two, you have here Marini, the grounded poison type. Both of them need... Basically, every team in this metagame, because of Glimmet, needs a grounded poison type just to deal with toxic spikes. And here, Tinkatink and Mudbray, you have the Stealth Rock setters. So that's basically just the team archetype. These 4 mons, sets may vary, and then a grounded poison type and a Stealth Rock setter. Not much variety, right? So that's the second issue, just such over-centralization. Like, every team just looks the exact same, dude. Copy-paste, but just some minute differences. So that's why I personally think Gastly should and will be banned, because I know most people agree, yeah, Gastly, even after all the DLCs release and stuff, and all the power creep, it's still overpowering. It's still so annoying to deal with, dude. You can see here, like, we have a problem, yeah. Actually, I didn't read this, but anyway, I didn't really read that. But anyway, you can see, like, I think Gastly should and will be banned. Now, what that means for the metagame, if Gastly gets banned, I think Stunky is going to be obviously a bit worse. Stunky and Ponyard, they're going to fall off a bit. I still think they're going to be like one of the best mons in the metagame. By no means do I think Stunky is going to be worse when Gastly gets banned. But it'll definitely, I mean, it'll definitely still be good, you know, but it'll definitely get a bit worse, and same with Ponyard. I think Timber is gonna definitely be better. I think Timber, like, while Ponyard and Stunky are gonna get worse because they counter Gastly, dude, Timber, this thing is getting countered by Gastly, dude. Gastly just outspeeds and just, like, Sludge Bomb just chunks this thing. So I think Timber, when Gastly gets banned, not if, this thing's definitely getting banned, I think Timber is going to be is definitely going to be way better. Because you can see here in Sword and Shield, it was, what, A-? You can see it was A-. It was a good threat. I remember I was still playing when Sword and Shield was around. And yeah, like, Timber was definitely something you had to watch out for and you had to keep in mind. But right now, you rarely, if ever, see Timber. But I think with Gastly's ban, dude, I think bulk up Timber is going to see a resurgence. I think this thing's definitely going to be a big threat because bulk up, Drain Punch, Mach Punch, and then like Ice Punch or Knockoff. I prefer Ice Punch just to deal with Fungus and stuff. But yeah, this set I think is going to be really, really good. So yeah, I think when Gastly's going to be banned, you're going to see a lot more Voltorb. And Stunky is also going to be way less popular. I also think Snubble's going to go from like A- to like A maybe. I think Snubble obviously also gets countered by Voltorb. What am I talking about, Voltorb? By Gastly. And also, like, you know, less Gastly, less Stunky. I think Snubble is also going to be better. So yeah, that's my assessment of the situation. I think Gastly is 100% going to be banned. I think if you think it shouldn't be banned, you're smoking something, you're on something, alright. And yeah. So leave in the comments, which mons, like, what do you think will happen to the meta? Which mons do you think will be better or worse after the Gastly ban? Because I'm excited for the post-Gastly meta because, dude, this thing's just not fun to play against, dude. I just don't like Gastly. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time.